Hello and welcome to another session of Mindful Data Mine. In today's session, we will see how we can import data using Proc Step. In our previous session, we have already seen how we can import data using infile statement. So using infile statement, we are able to import only flat file, but using Proc Step, we can import flat file as well as Excel file. So for the purpose of this exercise, I have already created a sample file for you. So we have the supplier data in which we have 8 columns and around 29 records. Okay, and I have same data available in Excel file as well as tab delimited file. So what I'll do is first I'll quickly upload all the 3 sample files from my system to SAS Studio, and then we can proceed with the Proc Step. So files has been uploaded. So to start with, whenever we need to write any Proc Step, first thing we will write is PROC. That tells SAS, okay, now we are using a Proc Step. After Proc, we'll write the procedure name. So here we will be using Proc Import. Now after Proc Import, next thing we need to pass is the file path from where we want to pick the data. For this, I'll use data file equal to statement, and in double quotes, I'll pass my CSV sample.csv file. I'm using this file first because we have already seen how we can import a CSV file using infile statement. Next is we need to pass the DBMS details. So if you remember, using infile we are passing delimiter, but here in Proc Import we use DBMS because we have files apart from delimited. Okay, so here I'll use CSV. Next is we need to generate output from this Proc Import. For that we will use out equals to option and pass the dataset name which we want to create. What I'll do is I'll use CSV underscore sample as the dataset name, and in the last I'll pass replace. So with replace option, what it suggests is it overrides the existing SAS dataset with the new values. Okay. Next, I'll use get names equals to yes. So get names is used so that SAS can understand that okay, the first row in the file contains the header or the column name, and I need to use that instead of passing default column as A, B, C, D. Okay, by default get names is set to yes, but in case if you set to no, then it will take default name as ABCD, and in the end we'll use run. Now let's run this and check the results. So we are getting 8 columns and 29 rows. Now there is one problem when we try to import a flat file using Proc Import. The problem is SAS is unable to understand what should be the length of each variable. So to understand that, by default it reads first 20 rows, and whatever it gets in the first 20 row it will set length accordingly. So for example, supplier ID it's 8, name it's 38, contact name 26, address 24, city 13, postal code 8, country 11, phone 14. But what if in case, let's assume address is more than 24 characters. Let's see what we get after 20th row. So we have ponds sh89 in the end here. Here we are getting ponds, but it's SHI and 890. So whatever it comes after 24 characters in this case, it's getting trimmed, getting removed. Okay, so what to do in such cases? So if we're trying to import any flat file, then what we can simply do is we can use another statement known as guessing rows. So guessing row statement bypasses the default length and bypasses the default row length or default rows that SAS reads, and instead of that, whatever number we will mention here, let's assume 50, 60 or 70, it will read those number of records, and on the basis of that it will define the length of the variables. So here we can pass any number, or in case if we want we can also pass max, but max is not suggested because what if you have a data of 10 lakh records? In that case it will read all 10 records first to generate the column length, and then it will read the data. So it's a two-step thing, right? That will increase your time to read a data step or to read or import any data. Okay, so the suggestion is to pass the appropriate guessing rows in all such cases. So here, because the number of records is less, I'll say okay, read 29 records. Now I've changed my output to CSV sample 1. Now when I'll run this, I should be able to see records with all the names correctly. Now we are getting 890 SHI. Okay, and we are also able to see values greater than 24 characters, which we are getting earlier. Now similar to this, if I want to read a tab delimited file, what I'll do is I'll change this to tab, and here I need to pass delimiter as tab. I'll use tab here again. Now because tab delimited file is also a flat file, that's why we'll need to use this. It says import unsuccessful. Let's see why it says so. Unable to open parameters, param.list temporary parameter value. Okay, so the reason why I got this error is because the CSV, it's not a CSV file, it's a it's a txt file. So we'll run it again. Now we are getting the desired results with 8 columns and 29 rows. Okay, the third thing is how we can import an Excel file. So for Excel file, what we need to do is we again need to change it to excel.excelSX, and here we need to pass excel sx. So we need to use the same extension which is available here, and I'll put here XLSX sample. Now with Excel we do not need any guessing rows because in Excel we already have a structured format, so SAS is able to read the number of records as well as what should be the appropriate length. Okay, so I'll run this. By default, when we use Proc Import with Excel, it will read the first tab. But in case if you want to import any other tab, then we can use tab here. I'm so sorry. We can use sheet here and pass the tab name. So if it is sheet 2, we can pass it as sheet 2. Then it will read sheet 2 in all such cases. Now let's go back to our output data and check the results. We should get all the 29 records with 8 columns, and there should not be any issue with address. See, we are able to get the address for all the records without using any, I would say, guessing rows statement. Okay, and the address for this is 45. The length for the address is 45. So in this way, we can import data using Proc Step. Kindly let me know in comments in case if you have any queries or concerns regarding the same. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.